Hi there. Have you ever wondered how to get your cookies so perfect down to the flavor, the texture, and the shape? You know, down to this perfect rustic shape right here? Yeah, that's a perfect cookie. This is the ultimate Oreo cookie. Hey everyone, let's get started by building the base of our cookie dough with half a teaspoon or 4 grams of baking soda. Next, measure 2 teaspoons or 8 grams of baking powder. As you know, this is going to give our cookies the lift we want. By this point, I realized things were about to get a little messy, so I decided to throw on my apron. Let's redo that. Half a teaspoon of baking soda, 2 teaspoons of baking powder, half a cup or 70 grams of granulated sugar, and 1 cup or 140 grams of brown sugar. Now all these measurements need to be precise, but the brown sugar to white sugar ratio is important because brown sugar will help us achieve a soft, chewy cookie. This part is a little different, so if you're a cookie connoisseur, don't judge me, just trust me. For our flour, we're going to use 1 cup or 140 grams of all-purpose flour and 1 cup or 140 grams of cake flour. Truthfully, you can probably get away with just using all-purpose, but I wanted to create something really special, and I read that cake flour can really aid in creating a softer and chewier cookie. So hear me out, just try it. Before I forget, before you even start making your cookies, let your butter soften to room temperature for about 2 hours. Do not melt your butter, as this can change the composition of your cookies. It's not wrong to make your cookies with melted butter, but if your cookies do not turn out like mine, then I told you so. Also, if you're watching me add 2 sticks of butter here, which is a lot, don't worry about that, I'll fix that in a second. Next, go out to your farmhouse and gather 3 eggs. More specifically, we'll add 2 whole eggs and 1 egg white. The egg whites will create fluffiness for us. Now this recipe was going to be Mexican chocolate chip cookies, but I realized this chocolate was from El Salvador, and more importantly, this chocolate was in the form of a tablet meant for hot chocolate. I was very confused as the label doesn't mention that anywhere. They'll be hearing from my lawyer soon for that one. Mix your eggs, sugar, and vanilla and rum extract together. Oh, and by the way, you're going to use 1 teaspoon of vanilla and rum extract, so 1 of each. And then, once you've creamed your butter, I take that back. Once your butter is whisked into a cream, begin to add in your egg and sugar mix. Mix until you get it nice and smooth and minimal clumps remain. Next, grab both of your flours and put them through a fine mesh sieve. In reality, most flours are pre-sifted these days, but if you notice clumps, then feel free to sift your flour. Remember that chocolate I had earlier? Yeah, here is the correct chocolate. So in making chocolate chip cookies, I prefer uneven and abstract chunks of chocolate. I don't know, it sort of hits a little different than chocolate chips. So chop it in chunks. And please, make sure your knife is sharp here too, because I don't want you in the hospital. Next, grab some Oreos and do the same thing. I thought the mini Oreos were better initially, but looking back at it, buying the large version will be easier to chop. Add in your wet ingredients to your flour and mix it, but not too much. Mix it well, but leave some obvious bits of flour around, so essentially undermix it. Add in your Oreos and chocolate chunks, mix it again and place it in an airtight container and leave it in the fridge overnight. Leaving in the fridge allows the dough to settle so it bakes properly. Preheat your oven to 370 degrees Fahrenheit. Using a cookie scoop, scoop your cookies and place them on a lined baking sheet. I have silicone mats that I use, and they're amazing when it comes to uniform baking and cleanup because nothing sticks to them. To get the rustic shape in your cookies that bakeries seem to have, tear your dough in half and then place them back together backwards, leaving the scraggly side on the exterior. There, you learned something new. Now, I'm always going to be transparent on this channel. I screwed up the first batch of cookies. They came out thinner than a damn sheet of paper, and I quickly realized the issue because of, well, science. I added too much butter. I redid these cookies, and this time I used 3/4 of a stick of butter, and let me tell you, it is the perfect amount for these cookies. They spread so perfectly and evenly when baking, all while puffing up. To know when they're done, look for your edges to be golden brown around the 12 to 15 minute mark, but it could be longer, so keep a watchful eye. After that, let them cool for 3 minutes on the baking sheet. Then, place them on a wire rack to finish cooling. Serve while still warm and enjoy your ultimate Oreo cookies with your friends and family. Now, let's compare the cookies. The left is the cookie we want, and the right is what happens when too much butter is added. The left was also airy and chewy and soft, with a little bit of crunch on the outside. The right was too, actually. The problem is it was just too thin. Ultimately, these cookies turned out amazing. I actually don't eat a lot of pastries, but I definitely enjoyed snacking on a few of these. I hope you enjoyed this video, and seriously, if you enjoyed it, or if you enjoy baking or cooking or any sort of food content, smash that subscribe button and like this video, because I promise you there will be plenty more to come. And go watch some of my other stuff if you care to, because as always, there's plenty more on the way, and I'll see you next time.